The Longbox Crusade presents
Action Film Face-Off.
This episode, it's 1981 versus 1999.
One good film enters.
1999 leaves.
2 men enter, 1 man leaves. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, then go out and get what you're worth. But you got to be willing to take the hit.
Miss a beat. Oh, welcome to Action Film Face Off. This is a show where two randomly selected years are selected or something. I don't know. You guys know what it is. My brother's going to bring an action film from one of the random years. I'll bring an action film from the other random year. Those two films do battle using a variety of criteria, and a champion is going to be crowned by the end of the episode. I'm Jared Albrecht, the Death Probe. My co-host is my brother Jason, the Weasel Skull. We're both military combat veterans who take our action very seriously, but not too seriously, actually. So let's have some fun. Jason, let's talk about what kind of episode we have here. We had a double blind for me. Double blind fire. I had not seen either one of these movies. Had I, the selections would have been different. We'll go into that in a minute. But what about you?
Same, double blind fire. I had two very interesting films, and I'm sure we'll have some interesting things to say about it.
Indeed, we will.
Yes, indeed. We're going to score each of today's films on a scale of 1 to 10 in 5 categories. Those categories are the overall spectacle, the best action scene, the villain, the hero, and the story. It's not in that order. It's not even in that order on my script. But you know what? I do what I want here on Action Film Face Off, except for one thing. There's one thing that we will always do. We will always have a deduction round at the end. We're up to, what do we say, 10 points? I don't think we've ever, we might. Today we might subtract up to 10 points from either film for anything that we think detracts from the movie or the story.
Thank you, Jason. I'm going to do something I've never done on Action Film Face Off before I introduce the sniper. I'm just going to be very upfront with the listeners on this episode. We're going to be talking about a couple films, as you guys know. We're going to be talking about Knightriders. We're going to be talking about Bridge of Dragons. Knightriders is my least favorite film I've ever covered on Action Film Face Off. I was, we make fun of Alan Quatermain in the Temple of Skulls.
I was going to say, you remember that?
Yeah.
Remember that?
And I was
finally getting let off the hook for that thing in that movie.
I was not a big fan of The Getaway. I thought The Getaway was a mean-spirited movie. Knightriders, I found to be, I'm just going to be upfront with the listening audience, just flat out awful. Like I won't watch this movie again, ever, unless I'm in like some sort of a prison camp and they're torturing me or something. But so I'm going to be fairly harsh on Knightriders on this episode. I want to be upfront with the audience about it. It did not do it for me. We'll talk about it when we get into the discussion. Now, having said that, I'm going to do my best to kind of posicast it a little bit, find some of the brighter spots. So I'm still going to be honest with the listeners because I understand there's people that like this movie. It has a 6 point something on IMDb. There's people who like it, and I can get it, I think. It's just one of those things that's not for me. I've used this example on another podcast we did recently. There's people out there that have read every one of the Dune books. People read all that Dune stuff. It's not for me. I just, what I'm saying is I recognize its reason for being and why it's so popular, but it's just not for me. So that's what we're going to be doing on Knightriders. So I just want to set that gauge early. We've never done this before on Action Film Face Off. Because I want listeners, if you came here because you're like, oh, I love Knightriders, we're going to talk about Knightriders. That's fine. It just wasn't for me. Having said that, let's meet our sniper. Sniper has just 1 point to give in each category, so the sniper can sway the scoring by a total of 5 points. Our sniper from this one is a family member of the Longbox Crusade. He hosts G.I. Joe Outpost episodes. It is our friend Jim Meal. He is returning guest of the show. But Jim, if I remember correctly, you were on a horror film face-off.
Correct. That was the episode that I was on.
Okay, so the question for our guest will be the most basic one because you haven't been able to answer the basic question yet. What are your 3 favorite action films, Jim?
I would have to say Tombstone.
I'll approve that.
Empire Strikes Back.
Approved.
And probably, you know what? I'm going to go with a Van Damme movie, Universal Soldier.
I was going to say correct before you even named it, but yeah, that's yeah. Universal Soldier is awesome because
Better than Hard Target. You think better than Hard Target? Because Hard Target's my favorite one.
What was the one? Was it Nowhere to Run where he's in Louisiana? What one?
He was in Hard Target in Louisiana.
Hard Target is Louisiana.
Was that hard? Okay, that was a pretty good one too.
Yeah, man, I like Universal Soldier as well.
Yeah,
Me
my
too.
favorite Van Damme. Jeez, I like Time Cop a lot too.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Oh, that's hard, man.
Yeah.
Universal Soldier is shooting up the ranks because you get Dolph Lundgren, like Dolph Lundgren, along with Van Damme, and you know my feelings there.
Oh yeah.
All right, now that we've got Jim's pretty good list of action movies, and before our two films enter the Videodome arena, we're going to kick off this episode of special shout outs to Crusaders Club members. These are the fine folks who've joined our crusade. They get early access to special long box episodes, they get to vote on show content, so much more. In fact, if you're listening right now and you're a Crusaders Club member, drop us a message that says, hey, I want to be on an episode of Action Film Face Off. That's right. I'm putting a call out on this episode. When you hear it, you head over to the Patreon page and send us a message. I want to be on Action Film Face, or via the socials. You know how to get in touch with us. Anyway, let's acknowledge these fine folks that are reaping these benefits and giving so much appreciated support to the show.
Alan W. Wright,
Angelica Wolf,
Oh, Auburn Elves,
Bill Beer,
Billy D,
Bradley Dello,
Braxton Underwood,
Carrie,
Clinton Robinson,
Captain Entropy,
Clark Westfield,
Comic Foil,
Dave Battlewagon Collins,
Battle wagon.
Eric Hodges,
Eric Porter,
Ezra Gallo,
Gary V,
Gene Hendricks,
George Meal,
Gerald Green,
Heinz K,
Django Unfettered,
Jason Keene,
Jason Lady,
Jeff Polier.
Jim Jarman. You don't want to hear me sing.
You thought about it, though.
He considered it. Speaking of which, Jim Meal,
Hey! Joe Man Conan,
Joe Thomas,
John Watson,
Josh Strickland,
JT,
Candace Ward,
the MVP captivating Kathy Bright,
Matt and Lissy Paso,
Mark Ross,
Michael Wagner,
Miranda W,
P.D. Devons,
Rick from Jeff and Rick Present,
Ronald Easterday,
Rob Morgan,
Scott,
Sean Urbanski,
Snake Plissken.
Spidey 67. I tried. I can't do it.
You saw notice I phased in and out of Chris there as I was going.
Spreadsheet. He excels.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Well done. Well done. Steve Cronin,
Steve Martin
Tim Price,
Tony Pennington.
and Toronto Cop.
If we miss you on our list, we apologize. Keep in mind, we record these episodes well in advance of release. So if you're a recent addition, you just joined the Crusaders Club, we're happy you're here. And we will be adding you soon. But no worries. If you feel like we missed you by accident, send a hate-filled email to contact@longboxcrusade.com. Pat will get that straightened out. And if you're asking yourself, how do I become a Crusaders Club member? It's simple. Just go to patreon.com and search for Longbox Crusade. For as little as $1 a month, you'll get access to the amazing world of Crusaders Club. Come and check it out.
All right, now that we're done with that tongue wagging, we're going to talk about some knights, some bridges, and some dragons. Let's get back to the film gladiators about to battle for your pleasure.
Bridge is not available in all areas.
Nor dragons.
This episode, I was assigned the year of 1981, and I selected...
Yeah, you did this to yourself.
I did. The poster looked fantastic.
It did look fantastic.
Had people in it. We'll get to it. Knightriders. What year did the randomizer select for you, Jason?
I got 1999. I saw Dolph Lundgren on the cover. I said, you can't go wrong with Dolph. And I selected Bridge of Dragons.
That's correct, by the way. You did a good job. You did a great job. And we have something of a matchup for this one, folks. So it's important to point out this is Jared versus Jason. We had to select from our assigned year. I might very well like his selection better than mine, and I do, or vice versa. This is about us discussing some beloved action films and coming to a consensus on which one of these is going to be this episode's champion. All right. These both Well, this is actually interesting. Knightriders, I put on my Plex and I watched it that way. Bridge of Dragons, Jason. Bridge of Dragons, I had on VHS.
Wow. You have an eclectic collection.
I did. When I saw that at Goodwill on VHS, and I was like, Dolph Lundgren, Bridge of Dragons, Kerry Tagawa, I was like, must have it. Now, admittedly, since then, I have gotten a widescreen, nicer copy on my Plex, but original VHS acquisition for Jared. What about you?
Well, Bridge of Dragons, I had to scrounge around and look for a little bit, but I found it on YouTube. So I watched it with some ads on YouTube. As far as Knightriders was concerned, that is streaming. You can rent it on Apple for $3.99, and that's what I did.
So that's how Jason and I saw these movies. Jim, how did you catch these two flicks?
I got them off of Amazon. Both of them are on Amazon. I looked through my 2600 VHS, and believe it or not, they were not in there.
I was telling Jason, the only one I had on VHS, I have Bridge of Dragons on VHS, so that's how I did it.
Yep.
2,600 VHS films. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, he bought the 2 pallets of like 1,300 each. Like it was like a bundle deal. Like it was a really good deal. I don't remember what I don't want to tell what you paid unless you want to, Jim. But like it was a good deal.
I paid about $200 for all 2,600 of them.
Wow.
Or 400. I'm sorry, 200 each, roughly.
Wow, that's a commitment. That is a
Yeah.
commitment. All right.
Okay, folks, it is now time for your spoiler warning. We're going to start discussing these two films. We're going to listen to a little Q106.5 promo dance break. And on the other side of that, spoilers are going to happen. So we'll see you on the other side of the Q106.5 dance break.
Discover the legendary Q106.5 in your car, on your smart speaker, on your phone. Browse to Q1065.com. 80s, 90s. This is a radio station with a vibe. Download our app or listen online. Search at Q1065 Radio on social media. The Q is your favorite radio station. Discover Q106.5 and hear the 80s and 90s hits on the radio station with personality. Q106.5.
Okay, folks, let me jump in with some quick info on 1981's Knightriders.
Fate is a fighting machine, disciplined in mind and heart, and noble to the death. Knightriders. They ride for the crown. They fight for honor, following a dream as far as it will take them. Because a legend lives as long as someone believes. Knightriders. Camelot is a state of mind. Knightriders, rated R.
Cast and crew is as follows. It starred Ed Harris and Tom Savini. It's directed by George Romero. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Synopsis is, and I did pilfer this from the synopsis, is a cut and paste from the synopsis from my Plex, just for full transparency. Because, I would have written it much more sarcastically.
It's probably for the best.
It's for the best, folks. A traveling troupe of jousters and performers are slowly cracking under the pressure of hick cops, financial troubles, and their failure to live up to their own ideas. The group's leader, King Billy, is increasingly unable to maintain his warrior's rule, while the Black Knight is being tempted away to LA and stardom, and they all have to ask why they were here in the first place. It's the same question I asked at the end of the movie. All right, interesting trivia. This is the first top billed lead starring role in a cinema movie for Ed Harris. So I promised I'd try to be more positive. He's on his way up. He's on his way up. Second, and I spotted this during it. I'm wondering if maybe you guys spotted during the movie as well. Stephen King is in this movie. He's in the first scene at the fair. He has a cameo because he was working on the script for Creepshow with George Romero at the time. Either you guys spot him?
I did spot him. Yes,
I did as well.
He was in there for a minute too.
Yeah, he had
twice.
Yeah, I think he had like 2 sort of short scenes or whatever.
Yeah.
And third, this movie debuted in the year preceding the similarly titled yet much better television series Knight Rider, which came out in 1982. Reportedly, the producers of Knightriders received a payment from the producers of Knight Rider so they would be able to retain the usage of the name and not have to change the name of the TV show.
I think it was for the better.
Yeah, really redeemed the Knight Rider name. I really wish
Yeah.
we were going to talk about Knight Rider, but we're going to talk about Knightriders. Over to Jason.
All right. I'll give you fine folks the rundown on 1999's Bridge of Dragons.
There is a place where the future meets the past. A bridge of dragons. Dolph Lundgren. Kerry Tagawa. Rachel Shane. In a time when peace and freedom turned to chaos and destruction, a soldier was chosen to lead his people out of the darkness.
Perfect wedding gift.
What do you think you're doing, soldier?
Torn between loyalty to his general and the woman he loves.
He murdered my father! He killed your king!
Kill him!
You can't kill Wu Chang,
Get out!
but I can.
A Bridge of Dragons.
It starred Dolph Lundgren and Kerry Tagawa. British narcotics, you bastard! It was directed by Isaac Florentine. Synopsis goes a little something like this. Wu Chang is a ruthless warlord in a fictional land that blends modern weaponry with fascism and feudalism, kind of a mix, and Warchild is his best soldier. Wu Chang intends to marry Princess Halo in order to solidify his rule. The problem arises when Princess Halo discovers that Wu Chang had her parents murdered and runs away to join the resistance. Warchild is dispatched to recover her, but suffers a crisis of conscience when he witnesses Wu Chang's cruelty and develops feelings for the princess. Lots of kicks to the face and bullets to the bodies ensue as good squares up against evil, and this tale is old as time. In my trivia, I tried to pick a theme, and so I centered it around martial arts. So I got 3 kind of little martial arts trivia nuggets here. So Dolph agreed to the film under the condition he could arrive only after testing for his 3rd-degree black belt. The studio realized this meant he would arrive in peak physical condition, and they happily agreed. Second, director Isaac Florentine and Dolph Lundgren met 20 years prior to the film when Florentine traveled to Stockholm to study karate, and that's where he ran across Dolph. And finally, Brian Fitkin played the renegade leader who threatened Princess Halo at the creek scene, and he is Dolph Lundgren's personal trainer.
Nice.
There you have it. And now that we have the basics on today's contestants.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Test your might.
let's get ready to rumble!
Fight.
It's a street fight,
All right, folks, it's time for action in the arena. Let me remind you listeners about a few things. First one is match game. We have 2 films, 5 categories, 10 possible matches. I have not seen Jason's scores. He has not seen mine. Place your bets on how many matches we're going to have today. Jim, you can place a live bet, and I'm going to advise you to make it a low number because I don't think we're going to match a lot.
You're going to rely on Bridge of Dragons, I think.
He's
I'm
going
gonna go
5.
right in the middle at 5.
5 is safe because we could conceivably match all the way in Bridge of Dragons or maybe have a match. Yeah, I don't think it's a bad guess, but we'll find out together. Speaking of scoring, listening audience, we here at Action Film Face Off, we're on a 1 to 10. 5 is okay. It's average. You see it on a decent made-for-TV movie. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you have a good film. 4, 3, 2, 1, you have something to work on like Knightriders does. Now, we will get into round 1.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Round 1 is the story. How engaging or original is the story? We start in 1981 with Knightriders. You get to go first, Jim. Tell us about your take on the story of Knight Rider.
The story of Knight Rider, huh?
No, Knightriders. Don't get confused.
Sorry,
I got excited.
So I didn't see Kit anywhere in this movie. Oh, the story. As much as the movie was drug on, the story itself I thought was okay. It was, I liked the idea of the Renaissance stuff with the motorcycles and just that part of it, the conflict within the group, that was pretty neat. But it just kept going and going. It was like, when you're in grade school, you had to write a story, and you go and you're like, and then this happened. Oh, and then this happened, and then this happened. That's what it reminded me of. Now,
except nothing really happened.
But no, the story overall was okay. It was just way too drawn out.
I won't fight you on that, Jim. Jason, your thoughts on the story of Knightriders?
I think the story was probably its strongest element. It's not a bad story. It's just not a great action film face-off movie. I mean, whenever we go into this, sometimes we start feeling frisky and we get away from our comfort zone. We're like, we haven't seen this movie, and this, it's George Romero and it's motorcycles. The cover looks great, and this is going to be a kick-butt action movie. And it's really not an action movie. It's a social commentary movie. And if you look at it through that lens, which I kind of forced myself to pivot it as I watched it, and I was like, okay, from a film perspective, it's pretty good. Jim's 100% right. It drags on about 3 endings too long. I mean, it really suffers from the Lord of the Rings, where are we going to land this plane syndrome there. But as far as the story goes, it's set in 1981. So you see there were little backdrops in there that referred to the hostage crisis in Iran. We're kind of on that crux where we're out of Vietnam for a few years now. And I like some of the subtleties where they had some of the Renaissance folks with their dog tags, with their old dog tags out. So you're getting the sense these are people trying to find their way in this changing world. We're about to switch from the Carter era to the Reagan era. And so there's a whole lot of turmoil, and America really is on a pivot. This movie tries to take the Arthurian legend, and these folks are just trying to say, like, I'm going to cut out all the noise on everything that's going on around me and do the things that I like, riding motorcycles and living to this code. And what really ends up happening is it almost becomes like a Jim Jones type of cult, almost, is what we have. They have their own codes that they live by. And Billy, the protagonist, he really gravitates more towards that Arthurian legend than he does the motorcycles. And then I'll call him the antagonist when we get there. But Savini's character, the Black Knight, he wants to ride bikes and make money. There's kind of that tension there. So there are a lot of elements to the story that are good. Again, just to bring it home full circle, just not a great action movie.
This was the most action-filled drama that I've ever seen.
Here's my problem with it is I don't even think it's a good drama. There's no character growth for Billy. He's just like, I like to live this hobo traveling lifestyle in an Arthurian way. And the Black Knight is like, yeah, I dig it too, man. Oh, wait, I could make some money. I'm going to go do that. And then Billy's sad until the Black Knight comes back. And he's like, yay, we're a family again. And like that, 2 hours and 20 minutes later. And I'm just like, I don't know, man. It just didn't grab me. I talked a little bit about it with Jason offline like yesterday. And I think it would have been much improved if they expanded their scope a little bit, because they focus on just this little group of Renaissance fair motorcycle riders. Is pretty niche, right? And sort of how they go through life. I thought it'd been much more interesting if they had a larger community of that. If there's 4 or 5 different, in different cities maybe, or different regions, and how they interact with each other, that kind of thing. But I found it to be tremendously boring. Not a lot of, I was never invested in 1 ounce of the drama. Never.
So if they kind of set up like that John Wick world.
Yes. Like a whole underworld of this, and there's a whole community, then it might make some more sense, because you get some different perspectives, you get some conflict and all that stuff. But otherwise, I just never once got invested.
Another thing I noticed was they were bringing in new characters all the way up to the last couple scenes. Like when they were kind of splitting their ways, and then they start going off these other people's houses and here and there. Like, you've never seen these people before. You're adding people in at the end of the movie, and it just kept going. Yeah. So
I think I was supposed to be really upset that like the Friar Tuck dude was like getting with the camera lady. I didn't care. Okay.
Me neither.
Anyway, yeah, I just think again, I know this movie has its fans, and I can kind of get it because it's very offbeat and it's very original. It's a little bit bonkers, and everybody's like, Jared, you little bonkers. I was like, but you got to get, like, I have to at least care a little bit about the bonkers, which I do, which is going to make a nice transition to Bridge of Dragons. It's bonkers. I know it is. Jim, you get to talk about the story first.
This was almost like a fairy tale story, almost. I mean, just the way, the princess has to marry the evil, the evil guy and to save the kingdom. And is she really saving the kingdom? And then this hero, this reluctant hero at first, comes and saves her. I thought it was pretty good, but it seemed like a fairy tale. And even the setting, just the way the world was built. We'll probably get into that later, but it just seemed like a fairy tale to me. I like that.
Absolutely. I picked up on that too, Jim. Like, there's a fairy tale mixed with a Dolph Lundgren movie of the 90s, and you shake it up and you pour it out. That's what you get. And I think your mileage will vary. You like bonkers and you like Dolph like I do. I think you're going to be fine. Let's find out what Jason thinks.
Yeah, I like the element of it. It was very simple. It was taking that fairy tale theme, setting it in this world. And I thought the world they chose made a lot of sense for filming in Bulgaria in 1999. There's a lot of former Russian equipment that we see in the movie. There's a lot of old fairy tale style palaces and cathedrals and the like, which is part of that ancient city. So it made a lot of sense filming it there. Story was very simple, good versus evil, good triumphing over evil in the end. Like I said in my intro, tale as old as time, but it works. Just, add Dolph and the machine gun and you're off to the races.
Yeah, I agree. The only thing that consistently bothers me about Bridge of Dragons is there's no bridge and there is no dragons.
Maybe in the sequel.
Good.
The dragons. Did you notice the 666 on all the equipment?
I did. Yes.
Okay. That's usually means dragon, like in Christianity in the Bible. So that equipment was for the dragon who was the bad guy.
A bridge will be coming later, I guess.
Yes.
I did notice that. It's funny. The first time I saw the 666 was on the helicopter, and I thought, well, that was just the helicopter's number. And then I saw it on other equipment, and I was like, oh, I got the feeling they were using that in lieu of a swastika, like it was to show that this is the bad guys, But you know what? I rejected it at first, but I'll accept it now. I'll accept Jim's definition. Now we have to score them. So let's go back to Knightriders 1981, 1 to 10, Jason.
Well, I know you're going to probably boot me out of the room on this, but I'm giving it a 7. I thought it was original script. I'd never seen anything quite like it before. Like we said, went too long. Wasn't perfect, but I gave it a 7 for above average creativity.
Yeah, we're pretty far apart because I have it at a 3. And I'll tell you why.
I was guessing you were going to have it at a 3 or a 4. I really did.
I'll tell you why. Because we say a 5 is an average made-for-TV movie. Okay, I've watched a lot of average made-for-TV movies, and I like them. If I came across this on TV and I watched it for I'd probably watch it enough to get through the first jousting scene, and then I'd change the channel. I would. Did not grab me in any way. Moving on to Bridge of Dragons, 1 to 10, Jason.
Very simple story, but functional. I gave it a 6.
Good news, Jim. It's match game number 1. Jason, I also have it at a 6. Like you said, it's basic as every fairy tale story you've ever seen, but it's made interesting enough with the anachronistic surroundings. And of course, Dolph Lundgren. We'll get to that later. But 6 as well. So, Jim, I know you have to, it's going to be tough. Which one do you think had a better story?
This is probably the easiest shot I've taken. It's going to go to Bridge of Dragons.
Okay. I got you. And
I didn't move any needles, folks. I tried.
No.
Hey, man, some lawyer had to defend Ted Bundy, okay?
Your Honor. I mean, and that's fine. And I think this is maybe the first time on Action Film Face-Off what we're really seeing here. I'm not mad at Jason's 7, and I don't think he's mad at my 3. I think what you're really seeing is how some movies just grab some people and they don't other people. It just didn't grab me in any way. And, that's okay. There's plenty of other big name movies. I could speak into this microphone and you guys would be like, what? You didn't like that movie? And I'd be like, you didn't grab me. I'll reveal them at a later date. But that is the end of round 1.
I was taking shrapnel and K-Sod while you were crapping in your hands and rubbing it on your face.
All right, that brings us to round 2. It's time to talk about Dolph and others. So we're going to talk about the hero. You know, how compelling is the hero? And that hero's ensemble cast, the folks that are supporting him or her throughout the journey. Jim, go ahead and tell us what you thought of the hero, Billy, I guess, in Knightriders.
Is it Billy or is it just... I think it's more his white knights, right? Because it was Billy, and then, but Billy was the one that had the confliction and all that stuff, and he put himself out there quite a bit for the crew and for the community. I mean, he fought hurt all the time. So was he a hero in that aspect? Yeah, but a hero also needs to know his limits for the team. So yeah, he was a hero, but not as good as some other heroes I've seen. How's that?
Yeah, no, I get it. He definitely was a man of no compromise. Like we saw that when he refused to compromise and bribe off the cop at the beginning to fight through the injury. You get the sense that Black Knight's kind of beaten his butt many times before, and he keeps going out. You know, he's really embraced this Arthurian Knights of the Round Table lifestyle, for better or worse. So I hear you, Jim. He was, 2 speeds, all in or laid up in his bed, recovering from his injuries. Jared, what'd you think?
I like Ed Harris.
Me too. Right stuff. It's good.
Yeah, I like him. I mean, as General Hummel in The Rock is freaking fantastic.
Absolute power. He's great.
Power. What was that one with because I don't want to talk about this movie. What was that one with Sean Connery where he was a serial killer and he helped get that other serial killer out of jail so he could kill for him?
Oh,
that was a good one. Just Cause.
Just Cause. Yes, that's right.
That was a good one too. I like Ed Harris a lot. And so when I saw his name and the poster, like we talked about, but again, I just don't think there was hardly any hero's journey. I don't think there was any growth for him. I mean, we're going to talk about villain in the next category, and it's going to kind of land on Tom Savini, but he was never a bad guy. Probably the biggest villain in the whole piece is like the cop looking for a bribe, Yeah,
or like you said, the sleazy promoter that was lying to him and stuff.
The guy who played the exact same character in Jurassic Park. He was the sleazy lawyer in Jurassic Park, and he's like the sleazy lawyer in this movie as well. But we'll get to that. We'll get the villains in the next round. But yeah, there were some likable guys in his group. But that's about as far as I can go with it. Yeah, I wanted so much more from Ed Harris. I wanted was kind of like Heath Ledger in A Knight's Tale.
Yes, no, that's a good point.
Is not terribly dissimilar from this because they both are odd. Knight's Tale has that anachronistic modern music and stuff to it. It's a little half a step off. Like this movie's half a step up. But yeah, I didn't get that from him. Unfortunately.
No, that's fair. Let's talk about Dolph Lundgren and Bridge of Dragons. Jim Becky.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Wait. Let Jim have his say. Go ahead, Jim.
From the beginning of the movie, I saw Dolph Lundgren. I'm like, you know what? I can already see the turn. I'm like, okay, I can see it. All right. But I liked the way that it processed. It wasn't just like, okay, I'm a hero now. But he definitely, once he decided that he was going to be the hero, he was a strong hero, and he was able to convince his partner to come along with him very easily. He just kind of didn't even have to really say anything. He says, yep, all right, what are we doing? How are we going to do it? So it was a strong hero. He fought for it, what he believed in. It's Dolph Lundgren. I mean, come on.
He's either fighting for you or giving you a spin kick to the face. That's how you know where you stand with Dolph Lundgren.
I'm good either way. Dolph Lundgren kicked my face. Remember that? Like Buzzsaw. What do you say? Buzzsaw touched me. Remember that?
That's right. Yeah, Running Man. That's what it was.
Dolph Lundgren kicked my face.
No, fair enough. Jared, what are your thoughts?
Clearly, I love Dolph Lundgren. Is this a peak Dolph Lundgren performance in film? No, it's straight to video Eastern Europe shot, but we've covered a couple of movies on Action Film Face Off of Dolph Lundgren in Eastern European shot, straight to video kind of stuff, and let's be honest, guys, it's never been bad. It's always entertaining. He's fun. I watched a video this week on social media And it was Sylvester Stallone talking about how much he hates Dolph Lundgren, but in a playful way. He's like, this dude is 6'5". He has terrific hair. He has chiseled features, his cheekbones, his muscles. He's a genius. He went to MIT on a Fulbright scholarship. Like, he's like, I hate
Washington State University, baby.
He's like, I hate this guy. And I'm like, yeah, it all comes across. He's fun to watch. And then when you do see him in interviews and stuff, he just always seems like the nicest guy. So yeah, I clearly am a Dolph Lundgren guy. The only thing that just made me chuckle about this movie is it's made in 99. So it's sort of almost the last of our 80s movies, but it's made in 99 because it's this big, strong hero. And it saves the princess. And man, does he save the princess. I think he saved her 4 separate times. Like, if you're a more modern movie watcher and you like to see your female lead have agency and stuff like that, this is not the movie for you because she gets captured like every 40 feet while she's on the run. She gets captured by somebody. But, our boy Dolph's there to save the day every time. And like Jim said, predictable. His story arc is predictable. The whole thing is predictable. It's a fairy tale with this interesting window dressing. But I like to watch Dolph do Dolph things. So, yeah, I'll give him a good score.
Yeah, I was thinking about that as I watched this movie. Dolph was kind of hitting his stride right around Stallone and Schwarzenegger and those big names. And even Van Damme really was kind of like top of the charts there. Steven Seagal for a while. And Dolph never seemed to quite hit that mark. But when you look back on it, I think one of the things I really respect about him, just as a person and as an actor, is like, he never really griped about it. He never got into those beefing wars like Stallone and Schwarzenegger. He just did his thing. And when he was doing his thing and his Bridge of Dragons is going straight to video, he still showed up. He's still in great shape. He's still, hitting the marks and just for entertainment purposes. Yeah, Dolph is king, man.
It's like a guy who knows exactly what he is and is perfectly okay with it.
And is comfortable with it. Yeah, yep. Got to respect that. Anyway, let's see what we're going to score it. I think I know which direction we're going here, Jared, but what score did you give the incomparable, amazing Ed Harris in Knightriders?
Every single one of the 3 points that I'm giving to this category is for Ed Harris in kind of name only. I like seeing him on the screen. Ladies, if you want to see his backside, you get that early on. Good news for you. But again, just disappointing. I wanted so much more from him. 3.
Wow. Well, once again, we're kind of far apart. I thought his character was compelling. You keep bringing up the scene where he's waiting in that field for the folks to come back to him. To me, it really reminded me of the Army when I was in the Army. So many times you see people would leave. They can't wait to get out of the Army, and then they come back because they get out in the world, and the world is nothing without the code of honor and the camaraderie. And he has fully embraced that, and he knows they're going to come back. You get the sense, and Jim, you brought up, I forget the young man's, Alan running off with Julie and going to the, those folks we don't know, like maybe it was his brother or something. I don't think it matters. It just shows us like they've done this before. They get out and then they get out in the world and the world does not make sense to them and they come back. And I don't think Ed Harris was particularly sad. I think he was just waiting. He just like, they're going to come back because this code of honor is so important. And he's embraced it, and he just knows. So anyway, long-winded way of me saying I gave him a 7. Jared's reflecting 3, holding firm with a 3. All right. Well, Jim, good news. We're going to Bridge of Dragons, and we're going to see what Jared gave Dolph Lundgren in Bridge of Dragons.
Now, everything in my fiber, my being says Dolph gets a 10 in everything.
I hear you.
If I could cast a movie with Dolph Lundgren and Christopher Walken in the same movie, which has happened. But Dolph was in it for about 30 seconds. But if I could get them, like, I'd die a happy man. All right. But anyway, I'm going to give Dolph a 7 in this one. 7 out of 10. I thought he was just excellent Dolph as usual. Not top tier Dolph, but really good. And this is the movie where I felt more of a military connection because of what Jim said earlier. Because he had this buddy, he had his best military buddy. And then when he switched sides and he went to his buddy and was like, man, you rolling with me or what? And his buddy was like, yeah, I think I will. I'm like, yeah, what you've been through a lot. I could write a literal list of about 7 or 8 names right now, people that could call me and say, will you roll with me? And I'd just be like, all right, let me grab my bag. That's it. That felt real to me in such a silly movie and silly context, but 7 out of 10.
Well, Jim, good news to you is that Bridge of Dragons is keeping you in the game. I gave him a 7 as well. I thought, he's past his prime at this point. I don't think he'd debate that, but even past his prime, he's still looking good. He's delivering good, and he is carrying a pretty so-so story on his very broad and sturdy shoulders. So 7 for me as well. And Jim, I'm going to pass it to you and see who you're giving your sniper bullet to. Although I'm starting to figure out, I think, which way you're leaning.
I see a pattern with you guys. So I think this is going to be the episode where the sniper bullets probably have a lot of weight. So I'm taking my job very seriously, but not too serious.
I like it, Jim.
I got to go with Bridge of Dragons. Just you
got to have a bandolier of ammunition to help out.
Yeah, unfortunately. But yeah, I got to go with Bridge of Dragons.
All right. That's it for the hero. I'll pass it back over to you, Jared.
Time for round 3. Round 3 is the villain. How menacing, how memorable is your villain? Jason gets to go first, and good luck with Knightriders.
I think there's 2 ways you can go with Knightriders. You can do that. The artsy society's the villain, man.
I knew It's the world, man.
It's the world, man. But I think for the purposes of our show, I'm going to focus on Tom Savini as the Black Knight. And I think not a villain. He's not evil. He's the antagonist to our protagonist. I thought what's interesting with him is that he has the more complete character arc. And Jared, I think you mentioned this at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
He is really pulled between these 2 worlds. He comes in, and I think on the one hand, he's frustrated because this is supposed to be a merit-based system, right? Where there's honor and so forth and so on. And again, you get the sense he is the best knight. So by merit, he should be sitting on that throne. And he's not. And then he's also like, and I'm not really making money. The only thing he really shares with us is, man, I love bikes. I love the motorcycles. I love this part of it. And I kind of tolerate the rest of it. And he keeps getting pulled. And you also get in the sense with his girlfriend that is on again, off again, because he keeps leaving and coming back and leaving and coming back. So that's kind of the theme. Like these folks kind of go out and they try to find something and then they come back. And so by the end of it, when they have that final, battle, if we want to call it that, final ride, and you see him sit in that chair when Ed Harris finally surrenders the throne, and you see Tom Savini says the emotions on his face, like he's literally crying. Like this is what he really wanted the whole time. I thought that was just a really interesting part about his journey. And just as a side note, got to meet Tom Savini once at a con. Really nice guy.
All right. Jason's deep thoughts. Jim, let's hear your deep thoughts on the villainy of Knightriders.
I agree. It was Todd Savini. Is that the character, the actor? What was his character's name?
Black Knight. I don't remember what his name was.
Black Knight. Yeah, whatever it was. I agree with Jason. His circle was more complete because he left and came back and was, you know what? This isn't that bad. This group. It's pretty cool. But I do agree that as far as evil, villain, the police officers and the promoter were the 2. And I'm like, man, you guys are messing everything up. What the heck? I mean, it was one of those no clear villain movie.
And I agree with
that's my thoughts.
Yeah, I agree with Jim. I even agree with a lot of Jason's deep thoughts. It just once again didn't particularly grab me as super interesting. But hey, I've already mentioned that about 100 times. Let's shift gears and talk about Kerry Tagawa over at Bridge of Dragon. Oh, Jim, you have something?
I have one more villain.
Go ahead.
The father, when they went back to get her stuff.
That's right.
One lady's stuff. that right there, I'm like, dude, that was one scene I wish they would have added. Is him, that guy going back and taking care of the father.
I don't remember that. It was probably about the time I quit and just checking X the whole time.
Maybe.
All right, but let's switch gears and talk about Bridge of Dragons. Cary Tagawa, rest in peace. What do you think, Jason?
It's a Cary Tagawa, man.
Right?
Yeah. His character is very one-dimensional. Let's face it. But if you're going to have a one-dimensional character, have Cary Tagawa play that one-dimensional character, because he'll find a different level to just really like, oh, you want me to be like a mean dirtbag? I'm going to be like a really mean dirtbag, and I'm going to wear some baller gear, and I'm going to look good, and I'm going to go out there and demonstrate some sword flashing skills. And his physical prowess out there was just amazing. So, he wasn't given a whole lot to work with, but Cary Tagawa can do a lot with a little, and he really demonstrated that in this movie.
I concur. He's got great presence. Jim, what do you think about Cary in this one?
I agree. I've seen him in multiple movies, great actor. In this one, you were like, man, you are a dirtbag, aren't you? He was just for the princess, the people in the village, just overall, I'm like, man, you are just not a nice person. How do these people not see this? That he's a bad guy. But yeah, he did a great job pushing the envelope, and his martial art prowess, as usual, off the charts.
It's Shang Tsung, man. Can't go wrong.
Yep.
Can't go wrong. I've always loved Cary. I think he came onto my radar in, it's going to be another Sean Connery reference in Rising Sun. I think it's the first time I really noticed him. And then, yeah, he's just good in everything. I almost got to meet him. He was the uncle of one of my troops when I was in the military, and she was getting promoted, and she's like, my uncle's coming. It's Cary Tagawa. I was like, what? I was getting my License to Kill VHS tape ready to get autographed and everything. But he picked up a gig. He had to go do a movie, so he was unable to come to the promotion. I was like,
it Bridge of Dragons?
It may have been Bridge of Dragons. No, let's see. This would have been about 2005, 6, probably about 06. I have to see what he was doing in 06, because that's what it was. Anyways, let's score these. Going back, and Tom Savini or the lawyer from Jurassic Park. I don't know. What are you going to give the villainy Jason for Knightriders?
Once again, I'm going to give it a 7. I thought Tom Savini's, I was centering around Tom Savini to make it clear. I thought Tom Savini's arc was just as compelling as Ed Harris's, which I'm suspecting you agree with me too, but not.
Wholeheartedly agree, yes.
It is at least as compelling. I thought he just did a really good job. So 7 from me.
This is important to point out that he's a special effects makeup guy who turned out to be a pretty good actor.
Sex machine.
That's right. Yeah, guess what, Jason? I gave it a 3. Just, again, I'm uninspired by almost every level of the film, and this is unfortunately no exception. Let's go to Bridge of Dragons. Cary Tagawa, what do you got, Jason? 7 is the bare minimum I'll accept.
Well, 7 is what it is. Like I said, not much to work with. He's basically your evil stepmother or whatever the fairy tale villain is. But he carried Tagawa it up, man, and does a great job. 7.
Match game number 3. Jim's on his way. He's on his way. I also have him at a 7. I thought he did just fine. I mean, it's no Shang Tsung, which may be his signature role. I'm not sure, but it's up there. He's always good. He never mails it in. So we're at 7s. Let's go to Jim. Did you like Tom Savini or did you like Cary Tagawa? All
right. If the listeners could see everybody's shock face when I say I'm going with Bridge of Dragons.
I believe you.
Get no love. I'm trying my best, folks. I'm trying to prop up Knightriders here, but it ain't happening.
Well, I suppose that is it for round 3.
You could ask yourself a question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
All right, now we're going to get into the good stuff in round 4, and that's the spectacle. And we're going to talk about the film overall, the effects, the stunts, cinematography, the music, all those good things that make a great action movie. And we'll start with Jared this time and see what he thinks of the spectacle for Knightriders. I got to think there's got to be at least more than a 3 here, because they did have some scenes, but Jared, take it away. Let me know your thoughts. And you're just going to say 3. That's right.
There was some spectacle. When I saw the poster for the film, I saw knights and I saw motorcycles. Honestly, I thought it was maybe a sort of a post-apocalyptic, maybe society rising from the ashes type of thing, or maybe more like what we got in Bridge
That
of
would have
Dragons.
been good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would have been good. Or like what we got in Bridge of Dragons, is sort of an anachronistic retelling, and they lean towards the anachronistic retelling of Arthurian legend, but they don't. It's just a traveling Renaissance fair of folks that do Renaissance fairs, except they swapped out horses for motorcycles. That's all it is. And you're right. I mean, when the motorcycle scenes, there's like a couple, I think maybe 3 total motorcycle battle scenes throughout the film. When they happen, like the first time it happened, I was like, okay, so this is what it looks like. I got it, and then the second one's kind of more of the first, and the third one's like sort of more of the, and it was okay and it was fine. So we'll get to action scenes, but I think the real spectacle of the movie does come from that sort of kitschy, let's watch night stuff on motorcycles. Aside from that, it was okay. I didn't feel really either way about the music. I thought it was fine. It didn't upset me or anything like that. The cinematography was fine. It didn't overexcite me or anything like that, but it's going to get more than 3. I'm happy to tell you, but still, I don't find it particularly inspired in any way. It felt like, and I think I might have texted Jim this as I was watching it. It felt like George Romero had been like, damn it, we paid to rent this Renaissance fairground for the weekend, and we're going to get as much footage from it as we possibly can. So yeah, I mean, it's fine. I'm not mad about it.
Yeah, I kind of wondered as I was watching it, like, who was the Road Warrior in movie? Miller?
George Miller directed the Road Warrior film.
Yeah, like if he would have directed those scenes, maybe that would have been a little more. But I don't know. Yeah, I hear you. Okay, so it sounds like kind of meh for you. Jim, what'd you think?
As far as overall spectacle, I agree with Jared that, it was kind of repetitive, but I kind of like the motorcycle stuff and the different, not stunts, but action in there and things, and the nature, all the outside shots and all the extra shots that we got of characters. And,
I think he means boobies.
And the music was different. Just the overall environment, I guess, was something you don't normally see in movies. So the spectacle, I kind of lean that way a little bit. That I really like this, the way the environment they built. I guess not really world, but environment they built with those spectacle. Except for the damn crickets. All those quiet scenes, there were crickets in every single one.
There were a lot of crickets.
That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fair. All right, Jared, let's move over to Bridge of Dragons. Spectacle on Bridge of Dragons. What'd you think?
Boy, howdy. You mentioned it earlier. It was pretty smart for the budget to go where they went. You get a lot of interesting countryside, some pretty countryside shots. You get that interesting, like I said, anachronistic mix of military vehicles. You get the horses, you get the palaces, and you get a lot of explosions and a lot of action and a lot of gun shooting. And it's the late 90s, so you get a lot of slow motion of your hero diving in some certain direction while he's shooting 2 pistols at once and stuff like that. It's very John Wooey.
Or running up the stairs that took forever, it seemed like.
There's a lot of stairs involved, man. You got to give it up to, even if you're not, there are some people who couldn't get into the weird aesthetic of it. But even if you're not, you still kind of have to give some props to like costuming. Like we talked about, Carrie's uniform looks really cool. It's what you would expect from sort of a fantastical dictator. Dolph always looked cool in his gear, so I think costuming is what I'm saying is a strong point of it. But yeah, good, engaging spectacle. But caveat, you kind of have to be on board with the weirdness of it. And we all know, because I love canon films and stuff like that, I'm on board.
Yeah, it did have some weirdness to it and really mixed with those 90s type effects. And I really got the sense they didn't have to worry so much about regulations and stuff in Bulgaria. I mean, there were a lot of explosions. a lot of explosions. But anyway, Jim, what were your thoughts?
I like was in the town, just the look of the old style town and different things like that, and the explosions and the countryside. But really, what really made me happy, this is going to sound weird, was all the sounds they added when they were kicking or punching or the snap or it's hard to explain. You guys know what I'm talking about, where they kick. I loved it. I was like, I heard that. I'm like, have I ever watched a movie that had that? But I love it.
Like anytime people would like move, sometimes just putting a hat on. Have the whoosh sound.
Yes, I loved it. That spectacle. So I liked it.
It is. Yep, it absolutely is. Yeah. There's a lot to like in Bridge of Dragons, and now it's about time that we put some scores to it. Let's reluctantly head back over to Knightriders and see what kind of score that Jared's going to hang onto the spectacle for Knight Rider.
5, just enough to get me by on a made-for-TV movie. 5.
Oh, we're close on this one. I gave it a 6. I thought, there was some interesting stuff. I think the one thing that I kept going back to, when I saw the first motorcycle chase, I thought they could just really end this by, Indiana Jones' Last Crusade in it and throwing something into the spokes of the motorcycle. And then I thought, there must be some rule against this because that would just be unsafe. And then they started doing it. And I was like, I think I would just go for that move every time other than trying to slug it out with armor and everything. At any rate, I'm getting off topic. 6 from me. All right. Moving over to Bridge of Dragons. Let's see what you got.
7. Perfectly happy at a 7 for the spectacle of Bridge of Dragons.
Wow. Jim, you're getting close. You're one off. I also gave it a 7. All the reasons you guys said. And Jim, I'm going to give you another chance to throw some love Knightriders way, but it's up to you. What do you want to do with your sniper bullet?
I knew that this was going to be where the two movies for me were going to be the closest. But the sound effects in Bridge of Dragons.
It was a sound effects.
Over the top. I got to go with Bridge of Dragons. I'm sorry. That put it right over the top. It overpowered the crickets. Just saying.
All right. There you have it, Jared.
I already had it written down.
This is going to be like a score of 94 to -7. All right, passing it back to you.
All right, it must mean it's time for round 5.
Don't force me to fight, because you won't like my way of fighting.
Round 5 is best action scene. So let's break down the action scenes from these films, pick our favorites, and score them. Jason, what do you got for us for Knightriders?
I kind of broke it down into 4 scenes. Admittedly, one of the scenes is more because I thought of a clever little thing for it than maybe it was more worthy of its own scene. So I was indulging myself, but here, let's see what I got here. Knightriders. First action scene is the first Renaissance ride, or as I like to call it, introducing Sir Lose-A-Lot. That's what I'm giving Alan's name. He's Sir Lose-A-Lot because for 2.5 hours, this cat never won not one duel. Not one. Even the one that mattered at the end didn't win it. So Sir Lose-A-Lot.
He didn't win any duels in the dirt, but he won a couple duels on his own.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. He got that Sir Lancelot, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, second one is the second Renaissance ride. And this is where I wanted to stop to pause and just say, this is why Gen X kicks so much ass. Because, this is how we grew up. We were doing this on our bicycles, man. We were jousting on our bikes. We were having these types of games. This movie has to come with a trigger warning for the millennials now. It's like you can't even throw a dodgeball at them. These guys, they're riding motorcycles. The crowd's all into it. Bikes are flying into the crowds. This is amazing. This was Gen X. This was what it was like growing up. So we'll just call this one hats off to Gen X. The third one is the ride for the throne. And then I called that one, oh no, the queen can stay. The queen can stay. You know what I'm talking about. And then the last one is, I call this one the former king's quest, King Billy's quest. Like when he relinquishes his throne, now he's free to go out and do his quest. And this is where he fought the cop in the McDonald's. And I call this one, I think they weren't cheering because he beat up the cop. I think they were cheering because he found the one ice cream machine in McDonald's that still works.
Well done.
So I had to go with that. All right. So those are the 4.
All right, man. Which one do you like?
I liked the Ride for the Throne, and I'll tell you why. All 3 were pretty much kind of the same for me, but there was this one scene in the Ride for the Throne where Sir Lose-a-Lot is kind of stuck. One of the Black Knights is coming at him with his lance. The kind of like, I don't know if he's like Indian or Hispanic or whatever, but the guy that was like the Black Raven Knight that was fighting for the king, he does this jump and he like drives his bike and snaps the lance like in half before it can impale the Sir Lose-a-Lot on the bike. I thought, okay, that was cool. That was a cool scene. That stood out to me. So I chose that one.
All right. I'll probably just choose the first jousting scene because they all kind of felt the same to me. Although I'm tempted about the ice cream machine just because that's funny, but I'll go with the first jousting scene. What about you, Jim? Which one did you like best?
I'm going to go with the final ride. Is that what you called it, Jason?
The
Ride for the Throne.
Oh, the Ride for the Throne. Yeah, the
Ride
third
for the
ride.
Throne.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that one. There seemed a little more action, but there were a lot, as characters are looser, I guess. They looked like they were having more fun during it. So,
yeah.
That's just me.
All right.
Let's find out what scenes we have in Bridge of Dragons, and we'll score these out.
I had to weed some out. One that I even really like, because I'm going to say there was an honorable mention to the little stick fight where he ends up fighting I was going to call that one, Here's Mud in Your Eye. By the way, that's not mud. But at any rate, but this is what I got. So first, our opening when we raid the rebel camp. I just call that one. Those guys suck something awful because that started off. There's like 3 guys. There's Dolph and 2 other guys, and they're like, there's a whole camp full of dudes. And he's like, "How are we going to do this?" He's like, "Let's do it fast. I got a lunch."
Yep.
So I called that one. Those guys suck something awful. The second one, I went with the fight scene at the creek, where I call that one Princess Halo, more like Princess Hell No.
Keep going.
And then the third one, because he actually had to rescue her again, like 5 minutes later.
She didn't get 50 yards before she got captured again.
I was like, what is going on? So that's what I call this one. Is she trying to get caught? All right, got to switch over to second page because there's more. The escape, where he just kind of goes off and spin kicks the general in the face, and then they have to escape with the chopper. And I couldn't resist. I just called that one, Get to the Chopper.
Yeah.
So that's classic. Number 5, more battles. Battles at the rebel camp. And I guess I never really quite understand like why he was riding a horse away and then riding back to the camp. We can talk about that in the deduction round. But I called that one, Are we sure that the rebels have live ammo? Like, we were shooting a lot.
They sucked in the first scene. They didn't get any better by this one.
Yep, nothing. And then I just kind of mashed everything in the final scene, the wedding fight, and then the fight outside, the final showdown. I called that one Wedding Fight, or I now pronounce you Man and Knife.
I like it. Yes.
Okay.
Which one are you picking?
Boy, those are some good ones. I don't know exactly why, but I liked is she trying to get caught? When he had to go in and rescue her the second time. I really liked that one. I thought it was cool with the table, how he kickflipped the table and everything. I'm going to go with that one.
I kind of like it too. You know what? I'll join you on it. They're all good to me. They're all in the same ballpark. But yeah,
they're all baller, yeah.
I'll go with that as well. Jim, what was your favorite action scene in Bridge of Dragons?
I got to go with the last one. I now pronounce you Man and Knife.
Yeah,
that one's
nothing wrong with that.
The overall action, the way that him and his buddy worked together to defeat him, and it was good.
I won't be mad at that at all. All right, let's score these things. Let's go back to Knightriders. I could score all the jousting scenes kind of the same. Jason, I think you liked the final one, the third joust?
I did because of the bike jump thing snapping the. It was cool.
What'd you score it?
At the end, they're all pretty much the same. 6.
I also felt like they're all the same, and I usually got disinterested about halfway through each one of them, so I scored a 4.
Well, that's fair.
So, Jim, it's going to come down to this for Jason and I. Are going to get that 5. Jason, What did you score? Are you trying to get caught? Because she really didn't make it 50 yards before she got caught again. What'd you score it?
Well, similar. They're all really good. So I scored it a 7 as well.
Match game number 5. Jim Nails champion. Jim, which movie do you think had better action scenes for your sniper bullet?
I hate to sound like a broken record, but I got to go with Bridge of Dragons.
Bridge of Dragons.
Sorry.
Ooh. There you have it. That's the end of round 5.
Actually, if Jim really wanted to save time tonight, he could have just said Bridge of Dragons once, and we could have just cut and put it in the.
Yeah, but then I want to get to hang out with you guys. I mean,
I know. I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
So,
time to go negative for a minute. Let's go to the deduction round.
Get over here!
It's a round for the ridiculous. Gentlemen, it's time to air some grievances. Jared, we talked a little before we started recording. I understand you may have a grievance or two to bring forward. It is now time to hold court.
I have taken a lot of my problems with Knightriders out on the scoring. I will do an additional -1 just because it is my least favorite film we've ever covered on Action Film Face Off. Found it to be an absolute slog. Was not for me. I want to reiterate to any listeners who are like, I can't believe you didn't like Knightriders. Sure, it's on me, I guess. It just didn't land with me. That -1 was just my overlay. I think I'm -1ing it because it's 2 hours and 20 minutes. Like, if it had been not for me in 90 minutes, it's a lot different than being not for me in 2 hours and 20 minutes. So I will say a -1 for its excessive runtime. Bridge of Dragons, we could take off for the ridiculous. The whole movie's ridiculous. The whole premise is ridiculous. It's the kind of ridiculous I expect from New Image Films, which was, basically the canon of its day in the 90s there. So I'm going to leave that one alone, but that's what I got.
Well, I think if you're going to take one off for the runtime, then that validates my inclination to do so as well. That's the one thing where you and I both really agreed. It's like, end this movie. And it takes a while to come to an end. So -1 that for me as well. I'm going to ask your advice on this other one because it's very possible I could have missed something in Bridge of Dragons. I didn't understand when Dolph was in the rebel camp. He says, I've got to go. I think he's got to go face the general. And he leaves only to have the general come to the camp. But he said general's coming to the camp, but he left only to come racing back too late to save the folks in the camp and get himself captured. Like, I either missed something or that made no sense to me. And I
felt like that was his true decision point. Like, he was like, okay, I've kind of done what I need to do. I'm leaving. I think he left with maybe the intent of rejoining. And then it just got to him and he was like, I got to go back and help these people.
Okay.
I think.
I don't know that there was any rejoining after you spin kick the general in the face.
Did he do that after the spin kick to the general's face?
Yes.
Yeah, there's no real coming back from that.
Yeah, I really feel like they were like, we got to get him out of this camp. And the writers had no way out. You know what? I'm staying with it. I'm taking one off.
I'm not going to talk you out of it. It's fine.
All right. Jim, I'm going to open it up to you. Do you have any grievances that you want to air? We won't weigh in on the scoring, but, it's your time to agree, disagree, or add anything.
First, I have to say, when Jared or Jason was talking about how long the movie Knightriders was taking, my internet was kicking in and out, and it just lagging and taking extra time. I thought that was fairly ironic, but anyway. And no, I've said a lot of stuff about Knightriders. It's not a bad movie. It's just, it was long. It was so long. Extra scenes that didn't need to be in there, and that was the biggest thing.
Yeah, they could have really trimmed that down. They really could have.
Yes. That's the end of our official rounds. Now, don't worry if you haven't keeping up with the math at home, folks. We do that for you here at Action Film Face Off. If you were betting on Match Game and you bet like Jim did with the 5, then you win. Congratulations, Jim, for being an on-air victor. Speaking of Jim and his sniper points, the distribution was pretty lopsided. All 5 of his sniper bullets were awarded to Bridge of Dragons. And looking at the judges' scorecards, the winner of this episode of Action Film Face Off, with a score of 82 to 49, is Bridge of Dragons.
Well, unsurprisingly, congratulations to Bridge of Dragons. Now let's head over to the randomizer and find out what the years are going to be for our next episode. My brother Jared will be pulling a film from
Choose Your Destiny.
1974. And I will bring a film from
Choose Your Destiny.
2000. And what will those films be? Well, we'll tease them on social media for those of you who want to watch before listening. And then we're thinking of you, Dave. Or you can tune in next episode to find out. Until then, I'm Jason Weasel Skull Albrecht, and you can find me on social media, lurking about on Instagram at Jason Albrecht.
And you can find me, Jared Albrecht, the yard sale artist, a.k.a. Death Probe, at Yard Sale Artist on X, Facebook, and Instagram. You can send all your Knightriders hate my way if you love that movie, and it's perfectly okay with me if you love it. What about you, Jim? Where can people find you?
You can find me on Facebook as Jim Miel, Jimmiel, and on X as Jim the Joe Junkie.
Nice. Now be sure to check out all the shows under the Longbox Crusade umbrella by subscribing to Longbox Crusade on your finer podcatchers or on YouTube, or you can check out the website at www.longboxcrusade.com. If you'd like to send us a question or a comment, you can do that by hitting us up on social media at Longbox Crusade. That's X, Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, and YouTube. We also have a targeted account just for this show on X. It's at AFFO Podcast, so you can chat either way. If you'd like to hear your voice on the show, you can leave us a voicemail, 707-532-5269. That's 707-532-LBOX.
Pick up the bridge. Drop those Knightriders.
There was no bridges. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you listening. Until next episode, keep your head down.
And your knuckles up.
The intro and outro theme to this show and all of our Action Film Face-Off shows are done by musical genius Joe November. Check out his SoundCloud at JOSEFLIN99. You will not regret it. Everything Jason said was dumb. Jim.
3, Jared. 3, right?
But no, I got. Let me do a better transition. So I did that just to make you laugh. Probably will.
Anyway, you can cut all that.
All right, and I will.
She's gonna blow him away.
You're supposed to let me finish it off.
And Jared, I want you to know that you are not a weirdo.
Jared,